Hello, welcome to a video where I will outline my plan on how I plan to exit my position in TLT in 2024 should we have a recession in 2024 or the Fed cut rates. Okay, it can be both. The Fed could be massively engineer a soft landing and we are not in a recession, but they still likely will cut rates sometime in 2024. All right. The chart in front of you is TLT versus the S&P 500. The time frame, January of 2008 through December of 2009. TLT is the candle, red and green. The S&P 500 is, of course, the purple line. What do you think this red line is? On the previous video, where I discuss sectors to invest in a recession, I have another red line, but that red line is somewhere in December of 2008, because that's when the NBER came out and announced that we are in a year-long recession that started in December of 2007. They're way late to the party, so if you wait until the official announcement of a recession, you are a year late. And you suffer a lot of pain in your portfolio if you waited to hear that, okay? But from looking at this chart, this red line right here is September 18 of 2008. That's when the Fed started to cut rate. Right there. That's when the Fed started to cut rate. Now, if you wait until the Fed starts to cut rate, to know that the market is in trouble, to know that the economy is in trouble, you have already gave up more than 10% of equity because the S&P 500 has declined over 10% already at that point. All right, more than 10% already. Meanwhile, TLT is trading at a range very similar to what we have this past 2 months. Look, 97, 98, 98, down to 88. Look at that. Yeah, that's what TLT was doing until the Fed cut rate. Does that mean that TLT is going to run up right away? Of course not. Okay, based on history, as you can see, TLT meander. Not sure why, but it did. It did meander for a good 2 months right there. When do you think the Fed finished cutting rate? Based on what you see on this chart, okay, the Fed started cut rate and cut rate rapidly. When do you think they finished cutting rate, or they announced that they are done? Based on what this chart shows you, if you guess December of 2008, you're correct, right there. So it's pretty obvious, okay? It's pretty obvious that the time to start to strategy, the exit area, happen when the Fed start to cut rate. You don't have to sell right away, but surely, based on where TLT is in 2024, based on resistance level, based on where it is at the moment, then I will plan on scaling out a position and hopefully completely be out when the Fed sufficiently done cutting rate, because after that, it's downhill. As you can see on TLT, it topped out long before the S&P 500 bottom. So it is a perfect time to exit TLT, raise cash to reallocate into the sectors that will bounce for the economy to recover afterward, right? That's the plan. The strategy is start to look for exit area once the Fed start to cut rate, and then be completely out when they are done. Okay, because once they are done, you have nothing but downward pain. So I'm not going to wait. Okay, once the Fed had cut sufficiently enough, and they said that we're done, we think we have done enough, and just let the lag take over, just like they are waiting for the lag to take over before they cut rate or stop raising rate the past few months. Okay, so that's the plan. All right, the right time to sell is when the Fed start to cut rate, and be out completely when the Fed is done. Don't be holding TLT. I have no desire to hold TLT once the Fed is done. My plan is to be out before they are done. Okay, I don't want to suffer this downward draft. Okay, it can be rapid. As you can see, very rapid crash here. In literally a month, it gave up all the gain, right? So be ready, be quick, be nimble. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.